All right, everybody, welcome back to another NACL Open Queue match. We are back once again, me and Anti, for the Polestar game, but this time they're going up against Golden Grubians, and we've already got our pick and bans out and underway, and it's looking interesting already.
Yeah, I mean, we already have the Nico and Senna being looked at here. I love the fact that Lucian and Varus were taken off the table, as well as the Ashe and the Milio. I mean, really showing that these teams have done a lot of their research. They really paid attention to the patch. I mean, Polestar getting rid of the Ashe while on blue side is honestly a pretty interesting decision
Ooh.
here. Okay, Senna Syndra. Interesting double pickup here. I mean, Syndra definitely excels with things like, the new passive on
Shadowflame,
Shadowflame.
yes.
Yes, and yeah, also Storm Surge, just a billion damage everywhere, right? Uh, but it's a question of what you're going to be picking up in response here for the side of Polestar. Kaisa, okay. I mean, I actually haven't seen very much of Kaisa picked up lately. But I'm expecting that Kaisa to be relatively tanky. I mean, you pick up the Rage Blade, you pick up the Terminus, right? The same kind of stuff that we see with Varus, but on a much lower range champion into Senna, this could be a problem. But Rel Nico, once again, itemizing into those wombos. But right here, Cassante. Okay, so we might see Cassante, Udyr, Jax, the classic three in the top lane on this patch.
I see what you did there. Kaisa being relatively viable here. But yeah, once again, we got some pretty standard stuff. I'm actually stoked to see the Senna and see how she can build off of the new lethality changes in items if they decide to go for that kind of build. I'm also interested in what kind of support item you think that the Kaisa or the Senna is going to go for here, because I don't think typically you could go the sickle anymore unless you can. But
no, it's all World Atlas.
Okay, but it's looking like Golden Grubians did a little bit of scouting and realized they don't want to play against Cozy's Udyr.
Yeah, I mean, like, Udyr is to be expected here. Honestly, I think right here, okay, Yasuo going to be removed here, which means that you might have a Gnar angle for Polestar. But I think you have to get rid of something like the Neela, something like the Cho'Gath, right? Something that pairs with the Senna really, really well here. I mean, Kench, honestly, is also a really good pickup here. But, I mean, right here, we'll have to figure out what happens. Oh no, I just realized we are in for an interesting treat.
Oh.
We have two Reppies.
Reppy is playing against Reppy. This time we got support Reppy in for the side of Golden Grubian. So this is going to be very interesting. I'm excited to see what kind of ADC you think is going to be picked up here with the Senna. We've seen in the past, typically T1, if they've pulled out some kind of Neela Senna, you could pull out the Tom Kench Senna, which actually just ended up getting banned here. And we see the Xinjiang is going to be picked up for, I believe that is Call Throw in the jungle for Golden Grubian. So that's a pretty strong pick and combo well with the Syndra and Cassante. So what kind of responses are you thinking Polestar is going to make here?
Honestly, right here, I mean, I think you're just going to default into something like a Jax or something like a Gnar into the Cassante. Might even be looking at Aatrox. But, VA, okay, we are going to be getting some spiciness over here. All right, Viego as the response to the Xin Zhao, likely going to be going with that Sundering Sky Titanic Hydra combo. But, I mean, for top lane, there's really not too much in terms of, craziness for top lane right now. It's just, hey, you pick a tank, they live forever, congratulations. Meanwhile, in bot, you know what? They're immediately turning me into a liar, picking up the Yone. I thought that we were devoid of spice, but just like visiting an Indian restaurant for the first time, it's just spicing up everyone's lives here, right? And just like that, the Yone into Cassante matchup in that top lane should be interesting. I wouldn't be surprised to see something fun like a Cho'Gath in this, but it is going to be the Seraphine, so we are probably, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see double support item here with Senna Seraphine. you know, because we are still on patch 14.1, you know, pumping a ton of gold into both of these champions could work out exceedingly well.
Yeah, I'm really looking for these bot lanes. You have a very aggressive bot lane out of Polestar with Kai'Sa. Rel can combo and engage very aggressively, but they're going to get poked out heavily by this Senna Seraphine. Someone who's been playing a little bit of Seraphine myself, she does a lot of AP damage and can scale really good off the new items, or she can build into support items with a little bit of AP, go something like, maybe goes a Moonstone into one of the new items, like, I don't know, maybe she can benefit off Storm Surge, something like that, to where her Q procs with the Encore is going to be absolutely devastating if you can get a nice knock up off of Jinzhao. So I feel like the engage out of Polestar with Rel and Yone is really what they're going to be looking for. And Golden Grubians, they're going to have to be aware because there is going to be a sneaky little Nico hiding around.
Yeah, I mean, and all that time, you're also going to be having the dive buddies, right? You know, you got the Nico, you got the Kai'Sa. Literally everyone can go straight to that backline, right? So Senna might be in a bit of trouble there. Seraphine just the same. While, you know, Cassante is going to be able to take one person out of the fight. You know, Syndra is going to be able to hit people with that crazy, you know, how do you call it? You know, that crazy outplay button, for the lack of a better term.
Oh, the unleash power.
Right? But, you know, while you might be able to take the Kai'Sa out, while you might be able to take out the Nico, the Yone, the Viego, right? You know, these are individual pieces that you are taking out, and this team as a whole is terrifying. We saw, you know, the two of us, if you saw the other Polestar game, were casting Polestar versus AM All-Stars, and, you know, every single one of these players is incredibly terrifying to play against.
Yep, and we're going to have Reppy on a Nico. Took a little bit of while to scale on that Orianna, but this Nico's going to hurt a little bit more if he can land those Pop Blossoms, and I'm looking towards this bot lane. You know, Enthralled on the Kai'Sa, did some work on Varus last game. I believe had the most damage in the game. So,
by a long shot.
See if he can replicate that in this game against Golden Grubians. But we're going to throw it to a short break here while we wait for everything to get set up. And we will be back with you guys very shortly. Okay, everybody, we are here for our game number 2 of the NACLQ for today. We've got Polestars back at once again, and they're up against the Golden Grubians, and see some little bit 5-pointing, but like we mentioned with the new Rift, it's a little bit interesting the way the 5-point plays out, and I don't think this... Okay, never mind. I'm being dumb. It's a copied Kai'Sa.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a little bit spicy, but, you know, not quite going to get that one just yet. And if we just get ourselves zoomed out just a little bit, we can see a little bit more of that Rift, see a little bit more of the play available for us today. I mean, okay, so we are going to be seeing Reppy farming on the Seraphine. You know, Senna always going to be looking to do fasting, maybe a little bit of farming here and there. And I don't know, chat popping up is interesting. It's clearly off.
We just turn it on and off again and see if it will do something, but I wonder why they're not going for a double World Atlas in this bot lane, as they're going for a sneaky push. What did the Rel end up starting? Does start that jump. Can they find a pick here? No, they might actually end up getting poked out. This might turn not in favor of them, as the Encore root's going to come down, and the Senna poke damage is a little much. So this level 2 advantage might have turned back in favor of Golden Grubians here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of damage onto a B, but, you know, you got 2 health pots, right, in comparison to the Senna, who also has some health pots. Oh my god.
The Ignite does come down, and they force the flash out of Reppy. That's huge for a level 2 fight that should be coming up soon. In this bot lane, they do hit level 2. Reppy does have the flash, but they decide that, no, it's a little bit too close to the tower, so they're not going to go for it.
Yeah, I mean, but you are going to be able to pick up as much farm as possible. And with the teleport on Reppy, shouldn't be too much of an issue here. I mean, I know that you mentioned, you're surprised it's not double World Atlas. A lot of the times, what will happen is the person who is farming is not going to be picking up a World Atlas until after the first back. So that way they can, index a little bit more gold, a little bit more stats. Meanwhile, in this top lane, we are going to be seeing Cozy just outputting a ton of damage. Geiger in a little bit of trouble on that Cassante, falling back behind in farm, but, with all of these minions under tower, should be able to pick up a decent bit in response. I mean, it might be Nico. We all know it's Nico, but looking mid lane and seeing a Kai'Sa just still looks like, wait, what the heck?
Yeah, it still definitely throws me off a bit, but, we'll get used to it as we get later on into the game, and we're thinking, why is there 2 Yodes in this fight for the side of Polestars? But we will figure it out later on. This top lane matchup is looking a lot in favor of Cozy early on here, but as we know about Cassante, later on to the game, he's going to be a detriment to deal with because he's the tank assassin that does it all and can absolutely carry for his team, so he has no issues. He's going to get whatever farm he can, but mid laners, this is really where I think the game is going to eventually start to turn the tide because they are poking the crap out of each other.
Yeah, I mean, meanwhile, we were saying that, we might be seeing like 2 Yones in a fight, and it's like, oh no, I can't believe that's going on here, but we are seeing 2 Reppies. Reppy, the mid laner, rocking that Nico. Meanwhile, Reppy, the AP carry bot laner right now, going to be
TP out of Geiger. Is he gonna go in? Oh, that's actually no TP from Castle. Are they gonna be able to find the invade picks here? No, they cannot, as the strike is gonna go wide, so not gonna be able to find that knockup. But you did force TP out of the mid laner, who was, I mean, he had a TP anyway to get that wave.
Yeah, I mean, a well-timed TP, right? I mean, you're not going to lose too much for it. It's first back TP anyway. But just like that, TP advantage is going to be feeling mighty fine for the side of PLS.
We do have first dragon spawning here very soon.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the big thing about dragon spawns, right, is that once it spawns at 5 minutes, it's also the same time that grubs are spawning. So, different teams have different priorities. Some teams really love to go for the dragon. Some teams really say, hey, you know what? These grubs are incredibly, incredibly strong. We're just going to feed our team these grubs, just get some extra damage for towers, get some extra tower pushing, get some extra gold as well. So I don't know. I mean, it's an early Cloud versus 3 Void Grubs, which make the second set of Void Grubs so much more terrifying.
It's looking like GG wants to go for that Cloud Dragon right off the bat, and Kira is in the area, but it might be bursted down already. Who knows? It is looking like they might try to respond to it. It is Polestars actually zoning out the members. They might just sneak up the dragon themselves because, GG, they just did a little bit of leashing, and now Polestars should be able to clean up that one and take the first dragon of the game. And like you were mentioning, dragon versus void grubs, I feel like what it really comes down to is what team can benefit from the split pushing the most and utilize that tower aggro and damage. And right now, to me, it's looking like the Cassante as a root's gonna come down, and the encore comes as well. A nice knockup and a triple stun with the shattering strike saves his Kai'Sa. AB putting on a clinic today.
Yeah, and AB showing off exactly what the Rel is made out of. I mean, usually when a bee fires off its stinger, it dies for it. But instead, going to stay alive, going to be able to keep everyone healthy with that triple stun. Incredible stuff from AB on this Rel here. And meanwhile, on the other side, we are seeing the double World Atlas come to fruition while a Cull is picked up on Enthralled side here. I mean, top lane fights just going back and forth. The classic, right? Nothing too crazy going on, but I cannot believe that Pulse's bot lane is alive after that one.
Yeah, we've seen Enthralled and a B with clinical performance together as another Shattering Strike knockup. Can they get the pick onto the Senna, trying to find it. Is he going to ignite? And that is going to be first blood for Enthralled, only having to burn the flash there. And actually, Evan RL not using his flash there might have been a little bit of a mistake, but it may be Cozy trying to find his all-in the 1v1. But here comes Coldthrow for a little bit of the peel. Going forward, he's going to use that flash, and it might be Kyria there just a little bit too late, but he's going forward with the flash ultimate. Can he find the pick of the Cassante? Yes, he's able to trade 1-for-1, and the Pop Blossom is going to be able to find Coldthrow. So Polestars has fired back strongly.
Yeah, and just like that, gonna be able to pick up 2 kills, 1 for Reppy, 1 for Kyra, but 2 assists for the side of Cozy, and all of a sudden you've got all this grub action in that top lane. You know, you got the dragon, you're picking up some of those grubs. I mean, it's on full vision and very low in terms of backup, but I doubt that we're gonna be seeing any of Grubians, you know, coming back to try to defend those grubs.
Yeah, and I feel like this is a huge detriment to the side of GG because you have Cassante and Syndra, people that could benefit strongly from the split push. Whereas I feel like Nico is going to be wanting to aim for a lot more of the team fight, as well as Yone, because he's going to have that ultimate to land the knockup. As speaking of another double shattering strike, but not able to find too much off of that. But yeah, like I mentioned, the fate sealed out of Yone for the knockups is going to go crucial with a Rel engage. So I don't feel like Yone and Reppy, or Cozy and Reppy, are going to be split pushing too much and aiming a little bit more for the team fight. So taking these Void Grubs from GG, I feel like is crucial.
I mean, you gotta deny the grubs from the Grubians, right? I mean, it's just a namesake point at that rate. But I mean, once again, you know, we're seeing Polestars get off to an early lead in terms of the raw laning. The Unleashed Power fully released, but I mean, it's just going to be trades here and there, right? You know, dropping that damage off, but not going to be too consequential.
See, bot lanes both have hit level 6, so looking for that magnetic storm, trying to find potentially something, but Coldthrow is in the area, so this bot lane has got to be careful. He's not on vision just yet, but he is going to sneak into that bot push. He's going to get spotted out on this control ward eventually if he steps forward a little bit, and Kyria is in the area for the counter gank if needed. The Seraphine Charm is going to come down in. Here comes Kyria in the area. He's going to use as the Magnet Storm is going to be able to stalk up the Seraphine, but has the flash to be able to get away, and an encore roots up 2 members. It's Kyria not able to find realistically anything, but coming down is Reppy with the flash. Pop Blossom is going to be able to knock up the Senna, but will it matter? Kyria is getting the resets as he finds a pick on the Coldthrow, but it is Kaisa that is 1 HP. Evan RL already used the ultimate, and that's a double kill. Can he get a triple kill? Kyria has the Senna. The root is going to end up going wide. Can he get one more? No, he gives that one over to Reppy, and no, Evan gets the pick on the Enthralled off the minions.
Oh my god. And just like that, it was looking so good for Pulse until Enthralled drops down, and what was such a clean fight turns into a 2-for-3 instead of a 1-for-3. I mean, it was beautifully played from both teams, but in the end, Reppy going to come out on top against Reppy, and Reppy is going to feel really, really good about that one, sitting 2-0 on that Nico. I mean, with the fully finished Merc Treads and getting a little bit of extra damage in here with that Hextech Alternator, you're going to be seeing this Nico get more and more of these crazy roams off.
Yep, no flashes on the bot side, and that means Coldthrow is looking for more. TP is going to be coming out of Castle here, has that unstopped power online, and the Dragon is up as well. It is an Infernal Dragon. I do not see the Viego in the area. Okay, it is Kyria in the area as well. No Magnetic Storm just yet. It will be online for this fight. And honestly, Cozy can TP in. As we see there, he's got the Fate Sealed, and the Dragon is already at 2.5. Are they going to commit to potentially burning it down? Can he win the Smite battle? Who's going to win it out? And it is Kyria who wins out that one. A root is going to land onto the Cassante out of Geiger. Not going to be able to find much of anything. What is going to be the turning point of this fight? Is the All-Out's going to take the Rel out of the fight? And will Cozy decide to go for the Fate Sealed? No, he decides to back out instead. And honestly, Polestars walked up, took a dragon, and walked away.
Yeah, I cannot believe that Kryra really just walked in, took that dragon, and said, yeah, you know what? Thanks for the leash. Yet again, I mean, it is is one of those moments where I honestly think Kolthro is playing incredibly well, but Kryra is playing phenomenally. I mean, it's like one of those moments where you say jungle gap, but it's not because your jungle's playing poorly. The enemy jungle's just actually cracked with it.
Yep, Kryra is 3-0 on this. Viego has the Kraken Slayer, so we realistically could have seen a fight break out there, but I think they're a little bit afraid of the charm from the Seraphine. 6 Void Grub stacks are going to be picked up for the side of Polestar, so they're going to have way more tower damage than you want them to have, and honestly, this might be looking like a bot invade as we see Castle roaming down into the jungle to help out Kolthro.
Yeah, I mean, you are going to be able to pick up that red buff, smiting for it, but I mean, red buff plus 3 plates, definitely a solid trade, but 6 Void Grubs is going to last you for quite a while. Meanwhile, you know, the Viego going to be looking over here, not going to be able to get too much more going on as right here. Oh,
Who's going to land the stun onto Castle? Can he land the scatter? Will, it does get stunned up. Will Kolthro commit to this? No, he's feeling like he does not have the item power spike. Speaking of item power spikes, we have another Luden's companion this game, and on Syndra.
Yeah, I mean, Luden's Companion, definitely a very nice item. You know, Luden's Echo might be gone, but Luden's Companion is always here with us. Gives you all of that mana, all that extra little damage on your abilities. I mean, oh, okay. You know, a miss out on that minion doesn't really matter as
the Pop Blossom over the wall, and Viego goes as well to help get that pick onto Kolthro. Reppy putting on a clinic, realizing this ultimate can fit over the wall. We have a 4-0 jungler and a 2-0 mid laner.
Yeah, and it's not just any jungler. That is Viego, the Ruined King, and the man's looking to ruin this entire game for the Grubians here. I mean, it's looking so tough here. I mean, yes, your bot lane is going to scale into absolutely infinite damage, but like, I don't know if you're going to be able to get to the point where they can scale.
Well, you have to find an angle to play off of your Syndra, because Syndra scaling and their bot lane scaling is technically almost infinite, as Syndra will forever get her stacks. Although there's a limit where she stops gaining a bonus off them as much, but Syndra AP damage, I've seen it come back before. You know, 0-3 Syndras get to 4 item power spike and then just absolutely start decimating.
Yeah, and this isn't just an 0-3 Syndra, right? You know, this is Castle. Castle's playing really hot. You know, still up in farm, still 0-0-0, right? No detriment to the team whatsoever, trying to make sure that nothing goes wrong here. Meanwhile, Evan RL and Reppy still just going to continue to scale up. I mean, you do have the Blood Song on the Senna, and the Staff of Flowing Water to start things off on
committing the all-out. Gager, you're forced to use the Fate Seal, his Cozy, and his Flash. That's huge going into the next team fight here in about a minute for the next Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, I was about to say, hold on, you know, Cozy, you know, finish up that Bork, should be able to do just fine into the Cassante, but Guy, you're proving us wrong. You know, Bork might not be enough. You got to be careful of more than just that.
Well, you always got to be careful around a Cassante. We mentioned the scaling out of the side of Golden Grubians. You've got Cassante, you've got Syndra, and you've got Senna Seraphine in the bot lane. So you've got very early champions that could do a lot of damage out of Viego and Yone. Later on into the game, these AP champs are going to start... Yone's going to start doing little to nothing against Cassante, and these AP champs are going to slowly start one-tapping him. So they got to look for some type of early end and early engages for these team fights to push these early leads that they have and try and deny the AP scaling for as long as they can. They're already up 2 dragons going into Soul Point.
Speaking of AP scaling, Enthralled is cooking. I love this. So this is a WMAX, you know, AP Kaisa. With the Manamune, you're going to be able to evolve at around level 9 once it turns into a Muramana. You know, you do drop this tower here, but you know, once you finish off your items, this Kaisa could just straight up one-shot people if she gets the opportunity. And all she needs is, you know, 1 stun, 1 Pop Blossom onto Senna, onto Seraphine, to just jump into that backline, pop them, and walk away completely invisibly. But right here...
Gager is going to zone out this Rel. A TP's coming in out of Cozy. He's going to immediately dodge all that as a 2-man Pop Blossom into the Fate Shield. Another knockup. Seraphine ult is going to be able to find not much of anything as Evan is trying to shield up all of his teammates. This is a fight looking in favor of Pulsars right now, but the kiting is a little bit there as Kyria is going to be able to find another reset. Cozy looking for a pick onto the Syndra. He knows that that's the carry. That Scatter is going to push him away for a little bit now. He's going to survive just a tiny bit longer. Enthrall's going to be able to pick up Geiger, and Kyria gets his 6th one of the game. They're trying to give this pick over to potentially the Kaisa, but AB is just going to take that one instead.
Yeah, I mean, stalling out the Death Timer is going to be able to desync those, making sure that Castle isn't able to TP back into that fight there. Meanwhile, Quote Throw in, just going to sit up into that top side. They're giving over the dragon, right? Kryra just does so much damage. I mean, Evan RL and Reppy, their job is to keep Golden Grubians alive, right? You just pump heals, pump shields into the entirety of the team. But when you're trying to pump heals and shields into a team against Pop Blossom, against Burst Kaisa, against Yone, against a 6-0 Viego, you could have 5 Sorakas on a team and still not have enough healing.
Is it crazy to say that Pulsars could look for an on-spawn Baron play here?
Honestly, I wouldn't see it as the craziest thing there. But, I mean, Enthralled still looking for a little bit more gold, a little bit more CS. You got one more stack on that call, always a bad feeling. But, you have the Storm Surge fully completed. The Manamune is slowly starting to come online here. And just like that, this Kaisa is terrifying. That bat signal, that killer instinct to dive straight into that back line, it could be a huge, huge difference maker here. So you don't really have to risk it all on a Baron on spawn. You could just look for some sort of pick. I honestly wouldn't be too surprised to see them baiting out the Baron and then just play to punish the turn.
We'll see what happens here. It's looking like they might find a Syndra here and run her down. Scatter's only going to land onto one, and the flash forward from Kyria is going to get that pick on to Castle. This is the opener that they probably needed to go for the Baron. A nice TP route. Baron up in 20 seconds, and Castle not up for 30, so they automatically have a 5v4 advantage. This could be the honestly game point turner that they want. Maybe they're going for the Cassante. Stun's going to end up going wide out of Kyria this time. But you got 4 seconds. They are postured around, but AB is recalling here, so it's not looking like something that they do want to go for just now.
Yeah, and I do believe it was just barely on vision. So, Colthrow now filled with confidence, going to be able to walk up here. But you got to be pretty careful. Blue buff, you want to be going over to the entirety of Polestar, but this Baron could be a problem. Oh, especially with this setup here. So this Baron has a particular different attack. It'll drag everyone into that pit. So you cannot be looking to take that without being ready to play for a turn, right? It's very, very difficult to take from behind, I'd say, because, you got that Vile Maw kind of ability where it just drags everyone in. Shout outs to Vile Maw, by the way. I miss Twisted Tree Line.
So we finally got your Storm Surge on a mid laner. Anti, so that is going to be Castle picking up that one, so probably a little bit of a power spike. Seraphine has opted for the Celestial off of her support item and has also finished out the powered form of the Archangels.
Yeah, I mean, Archangel's a phenomenal item for AP mages right now. The fact that it builds out of both tier and Lost Chapter is honestly crazy. But on the other side, you've got Enthralled already sitting on a fully stacked Muramana. This should be a triple Evo Kaisa soon enough. I think it should be, once you finish one more attack speed item, like fully completed. But look at these W's. They're just continuing to pop out. And big
maybe
flank.
a B caught out. The Seraphine ult goes wide, and so does the Encore route, and flash away from a B. Can they be able to find this pick? Kyria is in the area to try and help out. Evan is going to use the ultimate to just help solidify that, as another Pop Blossom is going to come down. This is a fight turning back in favor of Poststars, as Enthrall is going to be able to find that one. And TP is coming in from Cozy. The Fate Shield, I believe it ran straight into the Cassante unstopped, so it was not able to find much of anything. Kyria is going to be able to get caught out here in the jungle. A shutdown for Colthrow. And with Dragon spawning in 25 seconds, this might be a turnaround for Golden Grubians, as they only lost 2 members.
Yeah, I mean, with only 2 members dropping down and both of them having teleport, that is absolutely huge. And an incredibly clutch flash from Evan RL to flash over the wall to keep Colthrow just barely alive. Had Kryra picked that up, you know, that could have turned into a disaster with the Viego resets. Meanwhile, teleporting in from Reppy, not going to be able to land the snare just yet. But look at just how important these heals, these shields are. I mean, it's burst damage on burst damage for the side of Polestar, while Golden Grubians, as long as they can live past that first initial burst, have been able to come up huge.
GG has stalled for now. The Soul Point Dragons stacking out of Pulsars and have dwindled the gold lead off that fight to just about 3K. So we've seen them win a fight, GG. So now maybe Pulsars is taking a step back, thinking, hey, I don't think we can force every single objective with power spikes anymore. They're starting to be able to bounce back.
Yeah, but, you know, this back from Enthralled is crucial. If you can get an Evo on Kai'Sa's E, all of a sudden now you've got the Terminus on the Kai'Sa, so you've got a completely invisible Kai'Sa just darting straight through your team that's also bursting people down with the Hail of Blades, with the Storm Surge. I mean, this is so terrifying to have to deal with. Meanwhile, you know, Evan RL on the Senna looking to continue to pump out damage from far away. You know, the biggest thing about Golden Grubians is that they can outrange the hell out of this Kai'Sa as long as you don't get hit by a Rel Engage, by, you know, a Pop Blossom, by a Crash Down, by a Fate Seal, right? You know, there's so many opportunities they have here, and oh my god.
Castle caught out in the wrong place at the wrong time. So that is now maybe a turn into the Baron here, as you have the numbers advantage for the side of Polestar. See how they decide to coordinate this fight. They have started up and looking for that flip. It's looking like Reppy is going for the flank, but they might have spotted them out. Root's going to come down as he's able to use that Glass Cone to get away for now. The Baron is already down to 4k HP with a little bit of leashing from the enemy team, as Rel is going to look to go in. He's going to land the Shattering Strike, and the ult's going to be committed out of Enthralled, and it absolutely bursts down Evan RL. They're looking for more here, potentially chucking out this Cassante. Goes unstopped, but it will not stop you from dying. And the only member left alive in the area is Colthrow, and has to retreat. But maybe Kyria is not going to end up letting him. Stun's going to end up going wide. Can they land this route and knock him out? He will end up falling and fighting for his life, but Reppy's going to be able to get that one. One more reset for the Viego, 8-1. And now they should be able to force the Baron and let Cozy just run around and take towers.
Yeah, and just like that, we were talking about it earlier, where the Kai'Sa has so much burst damage, but all she needs is an in. You know, one bit of CC. Just put that bat signal into the sky and let her dart right in. Just demolishing the entirety of the enemy team off of one single pick. Once again, Exodia comps just work so well when they're all playing together as one, but okay, you know, gonna be bursting out a few more of those pieces of Exodia here. I mean, like I was saying, right, Exodia comps so well that they can play as 5. All you need to do is get rid of one of the pieces. Throw one of them into the ocean and the entire team falls apart.
We're gonna see how that Polestars can use this to their advantage. They already have an 8k gold lead. I like to say, once you hit around 8 to 10k gold lead, it's really hard to throw the game. So we're gonna see how Polestars can play this. The wave pushing is there from GG, and they are down to members. Cozy has not respawned just yet. I believe that is Gager coming in with the TP. A 3-man Pop Blossom, though, does not matter, as all of the members of GG are falling left, right, and center. It's just Cassante. The flash forward out of Kyria is going to be able to stun up Colthrow, and this should be an ace for the side of Poststars. They got a little bit of hope, GG, but Poststars have absolutely shut that down. 10k gold lead in their pockets now, and this could just be the end of the game.
And Reppy going to do it all with a humongous engage onto the back line. Says, hey, you, why in the world are you here, you faker? Get out of my game, get off of my rift. And just like that, Polestar up 2-0.
Wow, what a performance from Polestars today for the first day of NACL Open qualifiers. Reppy Diff. Is it too hard? Is it too hard to say Reppy Diff? Can we say that? Can we say Reppy Diff?
I think we can say that. Reppy Diff.
Reppy Diff.
I mean, like, it's like, once again, it's not one of those moments where it's like, oh, well, one of these people are playing poorly. It's like, no, Reppy played incredible on the Nico to the point where it's like, this is a standout performance. Look at just how much those engages did. Yes, Kryra on the Viego was so insanely impactful in terms of that raw damage output, but those engages from Reppy are exactly what allowed that to happen. I mean, one Pop Blossom would immediately just lock up the team, and now you don't have the Senna healing. Now you don't have the Seraphine shields all over the team. Instead, now you have Viego just getting a chance to reset off of Enthralled, getting the burst damage Kai'Sa coming through. The Fate Seal from Yone also, once again, being something you have to worry about the entire time. A well-oiled machine is the best way to describe Polestar, and they are incredible together.
Barely any deaths. 9-1, 7-2, 6-1, 2-2. They put on an absolute clinics, only giving over 9 kills to the side of Golden Grubians. This Polestar team is one that you might want to start looking out for this weekend of NACL Open qualifiers.
Yeah, I mean, either way, a huge play between, you know, so many members of this team. You gotta hand it to them, right? You absolutely have to worry about this team. You said we might have to be looking out for them. I think that if I'm one of the teams in this tournament, I'm studying up on these guys.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of the bans. You know, the Udyr ban was coming out, Rumble ban, all that, trying to shut down this top laner, where Cozy was not as impactful on the Udyr like we've seen him before. He still did his job on Yone. He TP'd in, he got the Fate Sealed off, lands the knockups with the CC chains off of the Pop Blossom. He did his job, put in absolute work, did not lose top lane at all, and get that and stop that Cassante from getting ahead, which could have been a problem later on into the game. Like we mentioned, the scaling of Golden Grubians was there, but Polestars knew it was there and just didn't let them get to that point that they needed to.
I mean, you know, Gandalf and Reppy did a decent job at, you know, what they were able to do. But in the end, Polestar going to come out on top.
All right, and that's going to do it for our day. That's going to do it for our day. We should see you back here tomorrow for some more NACL.